All right, friends. It's dinner time.
Yes.
And I don't think anybody in the city, in the suburbs, in any of the neighborhoods has it better than we do right now because we have Chef Sarah Stegner joining us from Prairie Grass Cafe in Northbrook. Chef, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me here.
I requested that you bring your guitar. Did you bring your guitar?
No.
See, boys, did you know that we have a classically trained guitarist right here?
Oh, really? Was that the first dream before?
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Do you still play?
A little bit.
Little
not
bit?
Too much.
I'm sorry to go straight to this because I want to talk plenty about Prairie Grass Cafe, but any children by any chance?
I have one daughter. She's 12.
And is she into music?
She plays viola.
Oh,
wow.
Wonderful. And have you shared your love of cooking with her, other than just cooking for her? I should say, does she share your love of cooking?
You know, she's more interested in the dynamics of how the restaurant runs than she is the kitchen. So I think she's going to be a front-of-the-house person. I'm glad you said that because would you agree? You've worked in so many great restaurants, obviously. Well, not really too many. That's the kind of the beauty about your career is a lot of people bounce all around. But I've known plenty of people. My brother-in-law is a chef. And that's the hardest part, is it not? The business side of it? I mean, not everybody can be, but there are so many talented chefs. But really making it work and navigating the whole system, the process, and making sure you stay open. That, to me, just from afar, seems like it would be the greatest challenge. It definitely has been a big challenge. I mean, you work in a kitchen 6 days a week, six nights. You're working, 14, 16 hours a day. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're responsible for a business on top of it.
Right.
And just trying to figure that all out along the way. It's been challenging.
Is that usually the natural progression? You become the chef and then the owner? Or do people just buy restaurants just to be the chef?
That's the dream, to be the chef, and then you want to be the owner.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did you find out how to run the business part of a restaurant? Because obviously you started off as a chef, but from there, how did you find? Was it a lot of trial and error with running your own restaurant?
Well, you don't get too many times for the trial and error part. I have a partner. His name is George Bambaris. He is also a chef, but he has a background in construction, so he had some business sense. Thank gosh, one of us did going into it, and the two of us make a pretty good team.
Good.
How critical was it the time you spent at the Ritz-Carlton?
Very.
I have to imagine that would kind of like getting. This is not even close to a good enough example, but me getting golf lessons from Tiger Woods from the time I was a child. That's the kind of level of expertise and perfection.
Yes, the U.S. just won the U.S. Bocuse d'Or, the big competition in Europe, and when I was at the Ritz-Carlton, George Bambaris was the U.S. representative, and I represented the Tetanje competition, the U.S. So, yes, it's that kind of level. And the training, I was with Fernand Gutierrez, a French chef, and he did a beautiful job there. And I loved working there.
French and Friends here on 1590 WCGO. We're so pleased to have Chef Sarah Stegner in studio with us at Prairie Grass Cafe, 601 Skokie Boulevard in Northbrook. PrairieGrassCafe.com. Something else I wanted to ask you. Also, 12 years now in business?
12 years in business.
Wow.
Going strong, getting better every year.
Nice.
And have you always been focused on healthy eating? Because, unfortunately for us as a people, a nation, healthy eating is, I don't want to say, it is kind of relatively new on the scene in terms of it's almost trendy to eat healthy, which is almost, it's really kind of bizarre to think that way because we should be doing that, and not just relying on our mothers to make sure we eat well.
Right. Well, I always, have had a passion for good quality product and for great vegetables. So for me, it was a natural progression, and it's always been reflected in my menu.
Yeah.
Kevin? Oh, I'm sorry.
I
thought one of you guys.
That's what I really like about the menu too. Is you have a lot of different options. So is breakfast served all day? Because you've got a couple omelets that are even in the specialties.
We have brunch on Saturdays and Sundays, and that's something that we did at the Ritz. So it was a natural thing to carry it over, and I really enjoy it.
I'm sorry. I missed my cue to ask a question. I was busy staring at this delicious food right here that we have in front of us. Where do you get your ingredients? Do you get it locally?
Yeah, we try to source as much as we can locally. I use two farmers markets. One is Green City Market, and I'm one of the founders of the market. It's been there for 17 years. It has 50 farmers that are all third-party certified.
Wait, is Green City the one in Lincoln Park?
The Green City is in Lincoln Park, and in the winter, it's in the Nodabart Nature Museum.
I love that place.
Okay, and it's every other Saturday. So I shop and purchase from a lot of those farmers there.
Okay.
I also have a connection to the Evanston Farmers Market.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Evanston Community Indoor Farmers Market at Emmanuel Lutheran Church. And that has 15 farmers, so it's a little smaller. They have great product right now with a lot of greens. There is a kitchen there, so you can go and have breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And I sell soups and stocks and muffins and cookies and
that's the best
con
thing
milk. And
that's the best thing to have during the winter too. And that's what I really like about going to the farmers markets, is because it's always something that's in season. So your menu changes with the seasons as well. And that's what I really like about your menu now, is this just a snapshot of what's there now.
Right.
But
Exactly.
you have different things throughout the year. So do you have anything that's specifically fall or summer that you do seasonally?
Yes. Yeah, you called it right there. My menu is driven by the season. And when I walk through the farmer's market, I'm looking to see what's available and what I'm going to put on my menu.
Okay.
So that's kind of where people always ask, where's your inspiration from? That's where it's from, the local product.
Okay.
Can you tell us as consumers, when I, not knowing what is really in season, I just go to a grocery store and I see an avocado without a care for the month that it is and wondering, wait a minute, what had to happen for this avocado to actually get grown and delivered to me right now?
Right.
How can we educate ourselves in that manner to know that we're getting fresher food and staying away from things that might not be, frankly, preserved, that
Right.
we don't need this stuff in our body?
I think for a chef, the best way to do it is to have the relationship with the farmers. But what's great about both of these two farmers markets is you can have it too.
Oh.
You can have that relationship directly with the farmer. And to go to those markets and make the time to talk to the people that you're buying from and ask them, what are they doing now? Because a lot of them are starting to pick the seeds. And that's a time when I would meet with a farmer too and say, will you grow this for me? And I want this for the fall, but I got to tell them now what so they can plan.
Because these are the people that literally, before you buy it from them, they just grabbed it right out of the dirt and washed it. Maybe washed it off for you, but either way, they're the people that are intimate with these products and this produce, because that's what you need, and that's what I really like about. Just looking over this menu is great, because I see so many things that are so fresh and lively. It's not that weighing down McDonald's greasiness or anything. Everything's fresh and crisp.
When like you said, healthy is now more acceptable. But like 10 years ago, I wouldn't have come on here and said, "Oh, let's talk about healthy eating," because it would have been a turnoff. But now people are really looking for it,
especially in this area.
Right. And what I brought in is something that I would choose to eat. I want it to be delicious. I want it to have texture. I want it to have some freshness to it. I want to eat enough. I don't want to be hungry. The sustainable seafood, which is the wild striped bass. It has local apples, and the pea shoots are from Three Sisters Garden, and then a really good flavored vinaigrette. So when you eat it, you shouldn't even know that you're eating healthy. You should just enjoy the flavor.
Absolutely.
But if you wanted to, you could look at the menu and pick things that you'd have choices, because there are different options on my menu, and all of them, have that element to it.
Boys, did you know that Chef Stegner here is a 2-time James Beard Award winner?
Whoa,
I
really?
do believe that. I
Thank
believe
you.
you said that.
We have done something remarkable, and I know we are not alone in the nation, but we are so conscious of trying to make sure that all of our children eat well, regardless of where they are. So for all the faults that we may have in Chicago, and I would argue that they're far fewer than we tend to complain about, what makes you happy in completing that mission to make sure that kids from all over are not going to some of the places that we've mentioned here, that are just eating healthy?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. I started a program with a woman named Diane Schmidt. It's called Healthy Fare for Kids. And it is asking chefs to put one healthy item on their menu. So many restaurants have these gorgeous menus, and then the kids' menu is hot dogs and hamburgers. That needs to change. If you put healthy food in front of a kid and it tastes good, they're going to like it.
For sure.
9 times out of 10, they're going to say, okay. And when I put whitefish on my kids' menu and it sold and I got positive feedback, I was like, see, that proves it right there. It works.
Hey, I'm glad you mentioned whitefish. should I be more wary than I admit that I am about buying some fish that I should know they're not pulling it out of Lake Michigan? I mean, would it be better for me in terms of freshness and healthiness to be looking for things like whitefish that I know can be sourced locally instead of, let's say, tuna, which is a long way away from where we would pull it out of the water?
But they do a really good job of getting the fish here and keeping it fresh. What you want to look for with fish is that it's sustainable. That they're not damaging the ecosystem. They're making sure that you're going to have that fish for future generations. So I'd say Whole Foods does a pretty good job of it. We buy direct from the fish houses, but there are like marine certified, and we use sustainable seafood.
Well, I'm glad you answered my question that I really have very little to worry about for the most part.
And
so that's good.
This bass come from a fishery as well?
This is wild.
Oh, this is wild. Okay, wow.
And it's been harvested correctly so that there was no damage to the environment.
That's great.
I think Mike indicated we should probably take a break right here. We were speaking with Chef Sarah Stegner, Prairie Grass Cafe. We're going to talk plenty more here. French and Friends, 1590 WCGO. Good? Okay.
Kick it back over.
Just go ahead?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, we're still rolling.
All right, French and Friends here, 1590 WCGO. We are talking about Prairie Grass Cafe in Northbrook. We have Chef Sarah Stegner joining us in studio today. PrairieGrassCafe.com. Something that I noticed here, and maybe it's just I'm not as sophisticated, but I think that we as a people are not worried about whether we're right or wrong anymore. When we go into a restaurant. Just little things like combining my fruits and greens. That was something that's relatively new to me. My wife made a chicken salad the other day, and then sliced grapes and put in there. Combining things that I had no idea these could go together really make for an amazing profile of many of these dishes that you do, I believe.
Absolutely. I like to, you want to try to pick things from the same season if you can. Okay, so like the apples are in season here, and pomegranates are not local, but they are in season right now.
Okay.
So it adds a nice crunch to it and gives it some pizzazz, that kind of thing.
Where do we get pomegranate from?
Grocery store.
Well, come on. I mean, are they made in the States? Is this overseas?
Of course. Yeah, they're
Are they made? Or they grow?
California.
Okay, California. Well, see, I'm learning, and I'm not embarrassed to be embarrassed. All right?
And that's what you can tell for like a good chef is not just about food and blending. It's about the texture as well. Like you were saying, with the crunch and having those different flavors almost pop at you as you're going, because essentially what we're doing is we're listening to a dish with our mouth. I mean, that's the only way that I could really describe it. And to get that sense and get the full senses, it's really amazing. Do you try different things? What does your laboratory look like?
I worked with a holistic nutrition consultant when I was losing weight. I lost 70 pounds.
Wow.
And she said she has a mantra that she says, hit a protein and something live. Her name is Carol Wagner. But that helped me clarify. It was kind of like what I was working on, where I would do a dish that has protein and then a vegetable and then something crunchy with it. And what I didn't really realize that was so important to when you eat, to have that part that's something live there. So what we call like that crunchiness or the mouthfeel or what you were talking about is also really good for you.
Okay.
All right. You guys keep talking. I'm going to dig into this real quick. This looks, it just looks good. There's so many different colors between the pomegranate seeds and the apple and the
red
greens.
cabbage.
It looks fun.
Hey, what you got? No, hang on one second. I'm getting there. Boy, that is amazing looking. Okay, I noticed something, Chef, that every chef has more regularly than we would think.
Oh, yeah.
A little cut there.
I sure did.
Yeah, but, it happens. One thing, my wife, we got her actually a decent knife for once for Christmas.
Good. Good move there.
I had no idea. It's like the difference between driving a Hyundai and a Mercedes-Benz.
Absolutely.
What are some of the things we could do at home to make our cooking experience better like that? Like buying quality that's going to last you forever in terms of your tools.
Right. Okay, so things that make life easier.
Yes.
When you go to the farmer's market or to the grocery store, you need to be open-minded. You can have, I'm going to have a salad and I'm going to have a vegetable and I'm going to have a protein, but you need to buy what's in season and what looks best, what smells best, that kind of thing. So you got to go there open-minded, people that go with a recipe that's written, you're in trouble already. You have to buy what's in season, not try and dictate it the other way. And good equipment at home is great. That always helps. Having a really sharp knife or a serrated knife. Like trying to cut a piece of bread and you don't have a serrated knife. No.
You're practically just squishing it at that point.
Yeah, all those things make a difference. And then before you start cooking, you want all your mise en place, your ingredients, everything laid out and ready to go. You don't want to prep it as you're going. Yeah. It's too difficult. And people, okay, first, it's not your job, it's not your career to be a cook. So you have to make this as easy as possible on yourself. And to have everything set up and laid out for you before you start is key.
Because one of the reasons I think we went to prepared meals or dining out a lot was exactly what you said, especially now that it's ubiquitous. Both parents, if there are both parents in the home, are working, so it's harder. So would you recommend even like night before kind of thing, or days where you could prep things that will keep? So that maybe, this is for Sunday night, maybe. This is for Monday and Tuesday. We'll go ahead and do the prep work, and then it's going to save us a lot of time.
Yeah. One of the things that really sold well for me at the Evanston Farmers Market this past time was I did a salad very similar to this, and I julienned, cut nice even strips of the celery root. I shaved the cabbage. I shaved the Brussels sprouts and had them ready to go for people. And then I put it together with the vinaigrette. That sold out like in the first half hour because I think just what you're saying, that it's that extra time and effort that it takes. Now, if you don't have me to do that for you, then yes, the night before, cutting the celery root, just wrapping it up in a damp paper towel, keeping it fresh. Those kinds of things help.
But Sarah, we always have you to do it
you
for
better
us.
Believe you do. Come to Prairie Grass.
You better call her chef in here while I'm on the mic.
I apologize, Chef. I apologize. But how long have you been in Northbrook? Has like the area changed around you? 12 years of being there. Has the area kind of changed around? You kicked all of the bad food out of the area?
Well, there's no bad food in Northbrook. So we are surrounded by 5 different communities, and that kind of all come to Prairie Grass. So it's Northbrook and Glencoe and Northfield, and all the outlying areas.
I'm sure. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sure that you like many different kinds of food, but if you had to pick one, French cuisine, Mexican, what's your favorite? If you had to, from other kinds of food.
I like Mexican food.
I do too. The real stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk about this food. Clearly, I'm not much of a salad guy, but this salad is delicious. I know half the deal with food is just the presentation, how it looks. This looks delicious. It's colorful. It's got a lot going on. What exactly am I eating here?
You are eating celery root that is from Nichols Farm, and the red cabbage is from Nichols Farm. The pea shoots are from Three Sisters Garden. And then I have a little bit of Brussels sprouts. I have some pumpkin seeds. I have pomegranates. I have a caper dressing on it. And the apples are from Ellis Farm.
It's so good.
Thank you.
Don't talk me mouthful. Okay.
And I noticed I was making a lot of my vinaigrettes sweet with honey, and this one doesn't have any sweetness in it.
Oh, yeah.
It's just caper and mustard and grapeseed oil and cider vinegar, which actually isn't sweet. And I like that. I like that because people tend to make their dressings really sweet.
And it's a beautiful compliment to the apples. And then you throw that earthy tone of the nuts in there, and it's right on the money. It's absolutely amazing.
When you add, like we were talking about earlier, but nuts in one is great. Okay, you see that young man right there in the Run DMC T-shirt?
Hi.
I would say we don't dine often. We should eat more together, but I think he has a pretty, I don't want to say limited. I'm trying to think of the right word here.
Collegiate?
Sure. I don't think he's much of an explorer yet in terms of his culinary desires. What would you say to people who feel like they know what they like and they're a little scared to try some things? Because, none of this is off the wall, for instance. But what would I say to my friend Mike there when I want him to try something new? Please.
Well, I think Prairie Grass, it has more than just fish. So we have a marinated skirt steak that's really popular. Our fillets and sirloins are all natural, prime, and people come just for the steaks. They really like that. Our chicken is one of the most popular items that we have there. It's completely boned out, and the skin is really crispy. And right now it's served with wild rice that has roasted grapes and pine nuts in it, and it has a acorn squash that has a brown sugar glaze on it, and a really good chicken sauce with it. So
I think Mike would try that. I think he would. We're speaking with Chef Sarah Stegner of Prairie Grass Cafe in Northbrook. That's 601 Skokie Boulevard. Sarah's also the founder of Green City Market in Lincoln Park and many other markets you're involved with, right? One here in Evanston again?
Yes, the Evanston Community Indoor Market.
Now, while we're talking about markets and farmers, I see obviously more and more people using urban space to grow. I'd love to see us do more progressive things, like keep use the water from the rainwater. I wish we would do a better job of that. And then rooftop gardens. Would that adversely affect some of the people that you do business with right now, or I guess what I'm asking is, do you support more urban
Absolutely.
gardening? Okay.
Absolutely. I support urban agriculture.
There you go.
In fact, we have a teaching garden in Lincoln Park that is an edible garden where kids come through. And really, we do a lot of seminars. Jeannie Nolan is the gardener, and she does a lot of seminars about how to farm on your balcony.
Cool.
The people that are going to garden, they're the people that are going to be interested in eating the right foods. And they're going to pay attention to where the food is coming from.
And that goes back to having kids eat healthy, because I find if the kids are more involved in the process of cooking the food, or they know where the food's coming from and growing the food, they tend to be more apt to eating vegetables and things like that.
You're right. You're right. Rule with kids is get them involved and put it in front of them. If
Absolutely.
you don't put the vegetables in front of them, they are never going to eat them.
So we're talking vegetables, but my favorite is the proteins.
There
I
you go.
absolutely love them.
Like this fish right here. This fish is delicious.
Thank you.
Yes. The thing I'd like to talk to you about is your #1 sirloin burger. That thing sounds amazing. So for everybody out there, are you ready for this? Chicago Magazine's #1 sirloin burger, mild Amish blue cheese topping, warm beef steak tomato, grilled onions, crisp potato wedges, and the surprise, without a bun.
Huh.
Why without a bun?
Well, because we put a little balsamic on the. We have a half a beef steak tomato that's grilled. We put a little balsamic on it, and the juices from the burger run, and the balsamic runs, and the juices from the tomatoes, and it is
you don't
to
even
die
need
for
one.
delicious.
Oh,
it's
my
really
gosh.
good. And on Wednesdays, this is like we kind of don't talk about it too much, but you guys twisted my arm here.
Yep.
On Wednesdays, you can come and get a burger half off if you buy a beverage.
Whoa,
Ooh.
hey,
come on.
That's my favorite kind of
Slider-
burger. The half
Slider
off
we
Wednesdays,
do,
that's
you
it.
know, 300 people on Wednesdays, and 298 of them are burgers.
And if you're asking where is, if you're just joining us, that is at Prairie Grass Cafe, 601 Skokie Boulevard in Northbrook. Sarah Stegner, Chef Sarah Stegner, is our guest.
So, obviously, you spend a lot of time in the kitchen cooking these kind of things, the things you know how to cook, but I don't know, with a lot of professions, there's a continuing education kind of aspect to it. So how do you find the time to kind of get in the kitchen like a mad scientist and come up with some different recipes?
Well, you know, it's a continual learning curve. I find that my inspiration is from the market, and when I come across something that, you know, I'm either tired of doing it one way or another, I will research how to prepare it differently. You know, either on the internet, I talk to my friend chefs, or I'll see something at a restaurant and think, wow, I wonder how they did that. You know, that kind of thing. But you are always learning with food. You never stop. And any chef that says, "Oh, I got this all done," they ain't telling you the truth. It's continual.
This might be a weird question, but do you like go home and watch the Food Network? Do you
No.
watch cooking shows?
No, I find
That's
it
for
very,
us.
very stressful.
Really?
Yeah, I don't watch the Food Network. You guys watch it. I'm not watching it.
No, that is one thing my wife and I watch a lot. Okay, so we could see you tomorrow at the Evanston Community Indoor Farmers Market, Emmanuel
Go ahead.
Lutheran
Take two.
Church.
Yes.
The problem is I'm a Baptist, and that was a bad word when I
will
grew up.
you will see my product there.
Okay.
I got brunch to do. I'll be at the restaurant.
Okay, one last question because I think we need to wrap it up. Do you see many people using the napkin like Jackie Gleason here?
Sure.
I
Sure.
mean, look at this. This is. I just got this hoodie for Christmas right here. You know, my wife would kill me if I got a stain on it.
There you go.
All right, so much more we could talk about, but what we want to tell you, if you haven't been, many people have, and they will swear by it. They will testify under oath that Prairie Grass Cafe is a wonderful place. Chef Sarah Stegner has been our guest. Thank you so much. I've truly enjoyed it.
Thank you. Me too.
More French and Friends here. Boys, anything else, or are we good?
No, I just want to dig into the rest of this fish right here. This bass is phenomenal.
Set my calendar for next Wednesday.
That's it.
All right.
Thank you, Chef.
Thank you.
More French and Friends after this.
Thank you, guys.
That was awesome.
Go ahead and stop the recording. Oh, that was great.